Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on Friday, November 8, 2024. I hope everybody's doing well. And already, since we have a new well, he's not in yet, he's not in office yet, people are deciding to do different things. They're trying to behave. So, like in New York City, they're ending the controversial taxpayer-funded prepaid debit card program for illegal immigrants. This is dated November 8, 2024, written by Hᴏft, the Gateway Pundit. Mayor Eric Adams has announced the end of a controversial taxpayer-funded initiative distributing prepaid debit cards to illegal immigrants. The program, which was initially launched as a pilot earlier this year with a $53 million budget. Is that amazing? All of that money, even half of that money, could go to the Hurricane Helene victims, right? Who lost all their houses and everything that they had. But no, $53 million budget to gift cards for illegal immigrants. The budget aimed to assist around 3,000 illegal immigrants and was set to expand. It's reached over 7,300 individuals for the next half a year. But it will not see its contract renewed after January 2025. So I guess, a lot of people are getting in shape because the Donald is coming into office now, right? And they're like, uh-oh, we better get in line here. The debit card initiative was designed to enable illegal immigrant families temporarily housed in upscale hotels like the Roosevelt Hotel buy their groceries and baby supplies, and instead receiving predetermined food services. Is that amazing? Meanwhile, we've got homeless people living on the street. They can't pay their rent. They can't pay their mortgages. Managed by the New Jersey-based Mobility Capital Finance called Hᴏft, the program allowed for a variable amount to be loaded onto the cards based on family size and income, with a 4-person household receiving as much as $1,000 a month. These cards will be reloaded every 28 days. According to the Office of the New York State Comptroller, OSC, by May 31 of this year, 2024, the city reported spending, get this number, $1.47 billion in fiscal year 2023 and $2.72 billion in fiscal year 2024 on expenses relating to asylum seekers. Is that insane? This latest cash infusion brings the total expenditure on this initiative to an eye-watering $2 billion, according to the New York Post. And moving forward, the city plans to revert to food delivery services for illegal immigrants under the care of the hotel voucher program. Well, according to the Donald, he's going to be sending them all back. So, sayonara. That's the way I see it. We don't need all these people here. We're overwhelmed as it is. We're not able to house and feed our own people. How are we supposed to do that with people coming over from other countries who have not been vetted, who are legal? They don't know how to drive. They can't speak English. Some of them came right out of prison, have health issues. I mean, how do we allow this, right? The City Hall spokesperson said the contract for the pilot program will not be renewed when it ends January 2025. And as we move towards more competitive contracting for asylum seeker programs, we have chosen not to renew the emergency contract for this pilot program once the 1-year term concludes, the City Hall spokesperson said. And you know what? It makes sense. If somebody's here for a whole year, all expense paid, within a year they better have gotten a job, right? What about all the people that go on unemployment and the unemployment ends and they get nothing? And they've worked their whole lives here in the United States as a U.S. citizen. And then somebody just comes here illegally and gets all this money. It's not fair. And then what about the Helene victims, right? For over 2 years, we have provided care for more than 222,000 migrants while saving $2 billion in asylum seeker-related costs. Thanks to our resettlement efforts, intensive care management, and national leading asylum application help center, more than 160,000 migrants have left our shelter system and taken their next steps towards self-sufficiency. Yeah, they're taking over hotels, the city spokesperson said. So, I don't know. But anyway, and so thank you, Leslie, for sending me this. It's really interesting that New York City is ending the controversial taxpayer-funded prepaid debit card program for illegal immigrants. What about the prepaid debit card program for the cops? You know, the criminals on patrol, the LOPs, the losers on patrol, the MOPs, the morons on patrol, the WOPs, witches on patrol. You know, your community stalkers, your community harassment groups that are paid under the table with gift cards, Bitcoin, new cars, leases, all kinds of benefits to harass innocent people for profit. And I wanted to say, you know, one of the reasons why they isolate the victim, that's a classic tool of narcissists, malignant narcissists, is isolating the victim, which is what they do with targeted individuals. But there's another reason that they want to isolate the targeted individual, because we are non-consensual test subjects. That's right. So they're experimenting on us covertly. They don't want anybody to see how your physical appearance may change literally overnight. They don't want your family members to see that burn mark on your face that you woke up with that you didn't have when you went to sleep at night. They don't want to see how your clothes are being permeated with chemicals to cause them to not only discolor but to disintegrate. They don't want anybody to see that, to validate that experience. And that's why they gaslight you too, and they want to isolate the victim. So anyway, I just wanted to give that little rant, and I wanted to thank everybody for commenting on the euthanasia, the unaliving of Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. And then one of the, they call them Karens, right? I call them snitches, right? Because there are some good Karens out there, you know, people with the name of Karen. I don't know where that comes from, but a snitch, just a rat snitch, that Kessler woman. But from what I understand, there was another woman. And this is kind of dear to my heart, not only because of a Peanut and Fred the raccoon, but this happened to me when I lived at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, a home I lived in for 30 years as the original owner, and I cared for a feral cat colony for more than 16 years at the Pine Brook Care Center in Manalapan, New Jersey. The Pine Brook Care Center is a care center, obviously, for elder folks. They also have a rehab center on the side, but they also have several acres that are not inhabitable. It's a watershed. I mean, from what I understand now, they've got some maybe solar there. But when I was there, I created this sanctuary for them back in the woods, and I had written permission to do so. Well, anyway, there was a woman named Maria who lives in Barnegat, New Jersey. She used to live in Manalapan until she married her copper husband and then moved down to Barnegat. But she was very envious and jealous, also very greedy, very bossy. Obviously a gang stalker. I hate that term. I hate it. A stalker, a snitch, right? And she and her buddies who then had another nonprofit right there in English Town. When Maria wasn't around, she'd have her buddies covertly call the health department and rat out my cats. And then they would send animal control there, and just animal control would just randomly trap one of my cats, bring it to the shelter, and say, if you don't come and pick it up, we'll either have it adopted or killed. Yes, they did the same thing to me in New Jersey. I later found out, and it's only much later, it's after a lot of things. It's like the problem, reaction, solution, where these criminal women, these envious, jealous, cat rescue people. They were dumping all their black cats at my colony, unneutered, of course, unneutered, unspayed. Of course, they would procreate, and it got out of hand. So they would rat snitch at me year after year after year. Well, one year, they did it with a new director that came in, and he said, well, you're going to have to go. And I said, oh, well, that's not going to happen. So I filed a petition online. It wasn't a GoFundMe. It was care.org. I filed a petition, and then there were people on Facebook that grabbed it. This Richards guy, who is a cat rescue person in Pennsylvania, he grabbed it and he created a Facebook page on behalf of my cats. It was entitled "Saving the Pine Brook Cats from Extinction." Well, between the care.org petition that I filed, the Facebook page, it literally went viral. And after that, Maria got scared. She was like, oh, the problem, reaction, solution. We complained about Lorraine. We thought that she would just have to go, but now she did this. Now we're going to have to intercept. So they created the problem. And then they reacted. They said, oh, well, we'll help her. They never helped in the past. We'll help trap her cats. We'll help get them spayed and neutered, because the Animal Protection League of New Jersey, they give out those vouchers, but they never give them out to me in the past, even when I ask for them. But now that Maria comes along, and now that we've got this viral petition, Facebook page, people were like rah-rahing around my cats, who ended up being able to stay. And then I received written permission to care for them, continue to care for them. But in between that time, Maria comes to the rescue, creates her own GoFundMe for my cats. That's right. She takes all the money, all the donations, all the gifts, all the money that went to her post office box, which was literally, it's still up there. Everything that came in, I didn't see a dime. Not a dime. What she did is she and Janine and her little buddies went in. When I was on vacation visiting my daughter, which is already pre-planned, I came home and they trapped a bunch of cats, and a bunch of them they unalived because of their negligence. Because they weren't their cats, they were mine, and they didn't care how they handled or mishandled them. And then when one was so deathly ill because they trapped a 3-month-old kitten, Fluffy, they got her spayed, vaccinated, and ear-tipped, a 3-month-old kitten. And then, after 2 days, they threw her back outside. That's right, she became deathly ill. Her head tilted, she was spinning in circles, she had diarrhea. I ended up trapping her again, bringing her to the vet, not knowing what to do. She had neurological damage because of the ear tip was so far down, and she was a little kitten. It's too much. I never spay a 3-month-old kitten. But they did. They didn't care, and they threw her back out. She got deathly ill. I retrapped her, brought her to the vet. Guess what? They had to steal the evidence. Behind my back, they told my vet that I could not afford the vet bill. And they went and removed her. And when I went the next day to pick up my cat, she was gone. Gone. And who signed her out? They didn't even try to cover it up. Janine, with the Animal Protection League of New Jersey, signed out my cat and refused to give her back. And then when I hired an attorney who wrote a letter, which I will read out loud at some point to you guys, so you can see how vicious these disgusting people are, and how what happened to Peanut and Fred the raccoon are not an anomaly. This happens all the time. But Peanut and Fred were famous internet sensations. My cats became famous internet sensations because of the video that went, the GoFundMe, not the GoFundMe, the care.org petition and the page that went viral. But then, of course, Maria and her friends came, raised all that money, stole it. I didn't see a dime. They trapped a bunch of cats when I was gone. I was not even there. I did call the vet. The vet said, if I didn't know these cats lived outside, I would have never known that they did, because they were the cleanest cats she's ever seen. No fleas, no ticks. Their ears were clean, everything. Because my cats were beautiful. I took care of them. But no, Maria, she would not even give me an accounting of what she got for the cats. No accounting, nothing. And then suddenly she took down the GoFundMe. And I know why, because it reached a certain number that she would have had to have reported. But she kept her post office box up there, and people were donating all kinds of gifts and things on the side, food. Microchips back then. And a lot of cat rescue people, they don't like to do stuff online. They send checks. That's right. Until this day, that biatch, Maria, still has photos of my cats on her Facebook page. That's right. My cats are still on her page. But unfortunately, most of them were unalived, because Maria is a gang stalker. I guarantee she and her buddies reported me, in addition to a couple of other people. But some people have asked me, well, how did you get on the list? Well, there are many ways that I believe that I got on the list, but these people is definitely one of them, because this went back to around 2010, 11, around that time. Because by 2012, I ended up applying for my own 501c3 nonprofit. I said, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And then things got even worse, because when she found out that I had a nonprofit and I was partnering with all these people, she went berserko. She started stealing my cats, sending animal control there. It's a whole long story. I won't get into it now. But for the animal rescue people out there, and everybody out there that has listened to the Peanut and Fred the Raccoon story, this is not the first hurrah that something like this has happened. It's just that it happened in New York. It was a famous squirrel. The home was raided. Right? The home was raided. He was violated. And he already started his nonprofit. It was absolutely a gang stalking raid, if I ever did see one. And anybody that knows anything about targeted people, they targeted this man and that raccoon, and that's what they do. Since I moved to rural Kentucky, 28 of my rescue cats that I brought here were stolen, poisoned, hit with energy weapons, kicked, burned, all of the above. And then, of course, they dump extra animals here because they have to keep it up, keep it up. I had even one cop ask me, oh, well, how many cats do you have? Like, first of all, it's none of your damn business. But I told him, at the time, we were down to 9 cats. So I guess he had to report that back to the county lawyer. And they go, oh, God, she's only got 9 cats. We got to dump a few more on the property. Got to get the number up there again. We can't call her a cat lady anymore. Can't call her a crazy cat lady anymore if she's only got 9 cats. Hey, there are people around here that have got more dogs than that. Right? All the breeders around here. So anyway, folks, I'm going to get off my little tirade here. So, New York City ends the taxpayer-funded prepaid debit card program for illegal immigrants. When will they ends the controversial taxpayer-funded prepaid cards for your community watch people, your organized stalkers. Leave a comment down below. I look forward to your questions and comments. And tomorrow night, Saturday night, we will have a live again. It will be approximately 10 p.m., ending just a little bit before midnight. Anyway, please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there, and I will talk to you soon.